Frontline Chat with Harry Tanguy and Dave Wardell.
Woo! Oh, look, there he is. Let's get him on. Let's get him on. Stand by. I should do this every day. Dave, you tricked me on this, because...
I know, I do it every week, don't I? He's
look at those.
Fire.
Look at that. Oh, I need that now.
That could be a relaxing YouTube video, just Finn snoozing in front of the fire.
Well, TVs are big enough now, aren't they? So, so they can look like it is like, Finn is actually sitting in the corner of the room. Amazing, lovely little thing. Any less of him, more of me. No,
I'm going. I'm just going to leave it like that.
Yeah,
we've had to come in the house because the internet is rubbish. I think the parrot chewed through a cable.
We're
in the house.
Yeah, it can go up and down, can't it? Go up and down.
We're in the house in front of the fire.
Wow, cracking. Okay, I am a bit. There's a few comments here because I met a very bad influence yesterday. I went out to see a guy called Ian Adams, who's a good friend of mine. I met him through Twitter. He's just up the road. He's a very good supporter of the police and things. We just get on. And so he said, you said, should we just meet up for a drink sometime? I said, yeah, do that. So I went down, took my car down, and then just to have, just meet him, one drink, and then disappear. And then he said, oh, no, I've got a hotel. He says, because it's a big taxi back to the next town. I went, oh, is this a session? He went, yeah. I went, yeah, good. So I stuck my car in the hotel car park, and all I remember was whiskeys, beers, and sambucas, and I put it completely down to him. Completely down to him. I was vulnerable.
Yeah.
I was vulnerable, and he took full advantage of me. There he is.
I'm looking forward to meeting him later in the year.
Yeah, it's a really lovely chat. And if I look in the comments, he might actually be throwing. So we are getting comments from YouTube because he said last time he was writing comments from YouTube. Yeah, they were probably being filtered out by the system because they were so rude or something. No, and but yeah, Jacqueline Hampson. Look at this. Oh yeah, I did do one drunken tweet about pizzas and kebabs that I was buying. So it was all going horrendously downhill. It could have got worse.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what it means is, as per usual, we've got to carry Harry through Frontline Chat today.
Yeah,
he's got a bit of a sore head.
Yeah, but we must be professional. But here he is. He feels fine. Yeah, he's obviously a professional. Professional. Thank you, Ian, anyway, for that. Yeah. And the little sod. So he said, don't forget to bleep your ticket for your car. And the little sod, he said, oh, mate. He said, you've got and then, of course, in there was a
bless him.
Yeah,
very much.
I was like
seeing him at Paynton later in the year.
Yeah, he's coming to Paynton. For this. Yeah, so good. How are you anyway, Dave? What have you been up to, mate? What have you been up to?
Not a lot, I don't think. No, not a lot. It's been quite a quiet week, which makes a change for us. We've got some bits coming up, which we can't really talk about all of them other than Paynton and Leeds and Halifax. But it's been fairly cute. Lots of stuff going on in the background. I've got a course coming up week after next, a 3-week course at work. So I'm studying for that at the moment.
Oh, so you're doing the course?
I'm being instructed to do something I've been promised for every year for 6 years.
Is there anything else you can learn?
Oh, yeah, mate, loads. Learn every day. The day I tell you I think I know it all, you can kick me up the bum. I won't say that.
That's what the course is?
I'm to be a drugs, cash and weapons police dog instructor.
Oh, nice one. Stop press.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
Yes, I saw
William.
that. Congratulations, William. Well done. Just do lots of reading up, and make sure you get nice and fit, and obviously do lots of reading up on the standard tests. All the information's out there, so it shouldn't really be a surprise on the day. You can get books and stuff on it, can't you? The entrance tests. So fingers crossed. That
Yeah,
goes well.
I would seriously do that, because I seriously don't think I would pass the test, just because I don't really know what they were asking. I did an application, not for real, for an application on the computer test to see if you're the sort of person to be a radio controller for the police.
And it said no.
I failed miserably. Failed miserably. I don't know if it was because I was trying to solve the incident. You know, the call taker it was, where I was trying to solve it on the call instead of just shutting up and taking the information. I just don't know. I don't know. But anyway, there we go. You mentioned a few things, actually, things coming up. First of all, I just want to mention this. A couple of previous Frontline Chat guests. This one's coming up, people need to be aware of. It's about a teacher who has or is accused of sleeping with a student or whatever. But Sheridan Smith, she wasn't a guest here, but Karen Henthorne and Ian Paulson-Davies were. So it's one to keep an eye out on that one. It was quite a good drama, that one. That sounds good.
Looking forward to that.
I'm
looking forward to this one as well.
Yeah, this one here. So this is Chris Hitchens. He was with us. He was a great guest, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah. In fact, here.
He talked about this show, didn't he? He couldn't tell us too much at the time, but he did talk about the show on his live with us.
So it was about Line of Duty star Vicky McClure is a bomb disposal expert and a tense new ITV drama. Do not miss it.
Stanley, tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, looking that. And I think what we have, and we've got to mention this, John Sutherland. We need to have him on here. He's probably too us now, isn't he?
We do.
But no, we need to have John on here, especially as he's got a book to promote, and that is called. This looks really good, actually. The Siege by John.
Apparently, it's a hit he's wanted to scratch for a long time. Apparently, it's his first novel. So promises to be good.
Yeah. 9 hostages, 10 hours, one chance to save them all. So, my God. So, it's going to take me longer to read the book than to actually solve the hostage crisis. So, it must be like real time.
Yeah. I saw someone made a comment earlier. Only 10 hours. Clearly, there were no hostage negotiators involved. I don't know about you, Harry, but if the Oscars made the call that the hostage negotiators were coming out, you got comfortable.
yeah, definitely. Or the very good chance, because basically to learn how to be a hostage negotiator, you have to be asleep in the middle of the night, get a phone call, get dressed, get all your kit in, get in your car, drive out your driveway, and then be cancelled, and then you go back into your bed again like that. do that a lot.
The aim of the game would be to try and get everything resolved, wasn't it? Before somebody made that call. They're wonderful guys, really highly trained. Take my hat off to them.
We have to say that. Yeah. No, they are wonderful.
As amazing team, but they take
we use them on firearms
steady, don't they?
Firearms, we use them a lot, obviously. There was one, I was at a Christmas awards thing when the police could have these dues, without the public accusing them of being frivolent with money and things. But anyway, frivolent, is that a word? I just made it up. And when they had a joke awards thing for people, and this was in Plymouth, and there was a PC who'd done his negotiators course, and it's not a sad ending because he survived, but basically the bridge there, he was negotiating and they jumped off, so you think that was quite sad. But and he survived, it was fine. But the sick side to it, he was awarded the 100% failure as a negotiator award because he just done one. So that is the sick humour that he took it with great grace, good grace. I mean, I don't think they would have awarded it if he hadn't survived, I'm sure.
There's a lovely comment from Maria there, which I think you need to highlight.
Oh, what? Oh, hang on, Maria. I can see you. After you're just back from a tattoo booking, almost as painful as listening to Harry. Maria, I know. This. What is it? What's your tattoo, Maria? You got to show. Well, don't. Best not show it. It might be after the 9 o'clock threshold for that, or Twitter might take it off. Depending where it is. Serious subject here. Then you brought this up to me, and I think it was a very good thing here. So we got the Thames Valley Police Federation. Cops and cars are essential. We have seen a correlation between plateauing road deaths and the decline in the number of dedicated road traffic officers. I have obviously a lot to say about this, so I won't say a lot about it.
This was a recent report, wasn't it? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Was it the Federation who called it, or did someone else do the report? So the report was released this week.
Yeah, I haven't read it. But basically, as you can imagine, it's saying that we over the years we have when I joined the job 30 years ago, there were over 4,000 road deaths every year in this country. That I think the last figures I was getting, it was like 1,800, a remarkable reduction. Mostly, I would suggest as well, I'd love to say it's because there was top policing by us, but probably because of vehicle safety, airbags and things like that. And ironically, you'd probably get more injuries now and less deaths because the deaths have become injuries. But without, I mean, we all feel it ourselves, it's the natural thing. As you're driving along and you're a little bit, I'm enjoying the drive, I might whip along here and you think, oh no, there's a police, if there's a better stop, let's slow down a bit. But if you know there's no cops out there to do you, there's far less that, it's natural. And it's, and people say, it's not necessarily the speed that kills, it's as you're falling off the road or falling off the motorway, 130 feet every second, that's the bit that hurts. It's when the event has happened. And if you fall off at 50 feet per second, you're going to survive, that's the problem.
I don't think the findings of the report are a shock to anybody in policing. We all said it, didn't we, in 2008 when they started cutting us, that, cuts have consequences. And clearly we're starting to see that.
Yeah, and I said devastating consequences and deadly ones as well, I put in a tweet, because it is each one. I mean, you and I know, relatives and having to deal with it's very close and personal, isn't it, when you're dealing with someone's death like that? And it's tricky, but and it's not just a statistic, is it? But I know, for example, in my force, we were quite fortunate because
Ian said it was on Panorama this week. That's where I saw it. Well done.
Oh, great. Okay. In our force, because we were dual rolled with armed response, they sort of could absorb it, because when there weren't enough cars to go to the 999 calls, they had to cut all these departments, as you know, and a lot of forces, I think including your force, Dave, slashed their dogs by 50%, and luckily in Devon and Cornwall, because we realised it was a very slippery slope to go down, we didn't do that. We maintained it, but we still haven't got enough dogs. You can never have enough, I guess, because you need to get to the scene quickly, to deploy quickly, to keep the scent before they get to the car. Yeah. If you're the other side of the patch because you've only got one dog on, that's not going to work, is it?
No. There's a number of reasons we were decimated. The vans are quite expensive was one reason that's used, but we're not a protected resource. So firearms are protected. Their numbers, I can't remember what it is, 2%, is it, or something? Police officers must be armed response, but dogs are not.
It's actually 4%. Technically, 4 or 5% usually.
Chief constables could get rid of their dog sections, and there were a few that tried. But they're enormously.
It worries me. That there's academia seems to be everything and anything at the moment. Is the thing. We need that. People say I'm anti. They think I'm sort of anti-degree or not. I'm not. I'm not. I'm just saying everyone doesn't need them. And this, I think, in some forces, and you're going to get it everywhere, where people have been promoted so quickly, they have no idea what it's like on the front. They haven't seen the benefits of police dogs. Actually see it happen several times.
I've always said that. I've always said that.
And it leads them to a car that was full of burglary stuff as they were leading back to for doing a series of burglaries, going back to a car before they drive up, and all the kit and all those burglaries, all those personal possessions returned to those people, that sort of things.
Yeah.
You know, it's incredible.
I
And missing persons.
I can't complain about my boss. She's incredible, and she loves the dog section. But yeah, you're right. You know, the people that make the decisions they're probably on the street for not very long at all. They may have called for a dog 3 times, been told twice that there wasn't one available, and then when the other one turned up, they were themselves called away, so they never got to see it. But you'll have firearms commanders and possibly road traffic commanders that are in higher ranks, but no dog handlers, because we rarely go for promotion.
No.
We love what we do so much. We rarely go for promotion, so there isn't always that top. And cover.
So you don't. And so when they've got these big meetings, they're discussing which departments and things. It's one of the reasons I did Twitter, because people had just assumed you just drive around in a big posh car and don't do anything. So doing Twitter didn't just educate the public. Dave, shut your mouth. I know what you're trying to say. And didn't just educate the public as to what their tax was going on. It actually told the bosses what we were doing. So they were like, oh, right, that's good, you know. And then suddenly, because then you get, because in the old days, if somebody tried to slash the traffic department, the chief superintendent would be, yeah, you're not bloody doing that to my department, because then there would be some sort of backlash from it. But now it's sort of, well, yeah, traffic department, well, no one likes speeding tickets today. Let's get rid of them. I'm sure it's not quite like that. Stop press. Good afternoon. My application has been successful. Police control room.
Well done,
Natasha. You're a better woman than I am a man. That you've managed to do that. Well done.
No,
well done.
I was talking to a 22-year veteran of our control room the other day. She lives not far from us, and she was on her way back from the shops. And it's a tough place to be. It really is. You know, don't let anyone say to you, "Oh, you're not on the street, you don't get it." It is just as tough as being on the street. You're sending people to jobs. You're trying to find resources. You're trying to keep up to date with who needs to go to what next and who's coming on duty next, and then handover. And then you get a hot handover where there's 40 open jobs, and you're just like, ah. So, you know, look after yourself.
It's those, and they're very emotionally involved with it. It's the call takers and the radio operators. They're seeing us see. They're bringing all the pursuit together.
They see it unravel on CCTV as well. They've sent they've sent these officers to these jobs, and then they watch them, you know, get beaten up and all sorts. We're not trying to put you off, Natasha. It's an incredible job, but what we're trying to say is that
very exciting job, isn't it? Very exciting. It's like watching a drama every night, Natasha. The drama unfolds, and you just don't know how it's going to end. It could be a happy ending or a sad ending. But yeah, you're really emotionally involved where you get someone. You get screaming at the other end of the phone, and you've got to remain controlled and get the information and deploy the other units and try to keep them calm, but thinking how much danger they're in. It's a lot going on. Good on you. Yeah. Good on you. It's not a dull day, that would be sure.
Like Lewis Hamilton in the cockpit of his car, where he's driving at 200 and something miles an hour, and he's twiddling all the knobs, but he's got to stay calm. That'll be you.
Scott's coming to Paynton. Scott Taylor. Hi, both. Yeah, we do. We need another copper, mate. That's good. Yeah, Mum's good. Mum's always asleep, bless her heart. So she's happy. Always asleep. She's she's weak, but she's happy. So I'll be going down to Newquay tonight. And then because I'm helping Truro School with their 10 tours. They needed a minibus driver. So I'm down there just doing the coastline lizard. I'll take Arthur with me. So that'll be good for tomorrow. But I'll be honest with you. I was so tired after Ian's bad influence with sambucas and things with me. I literally had to grab 20 minutes sleep before FrontLine chat. Because I thought, plus if I'm driving down to Newquay, I need to be a little bit more awake. So after this, I feel good now. It's woken me up.
Yeah.
But
we need to make an apology, don't we? Not on our behalf, of course. And we can't tell you why he's not here because he's asked us not to tell you. But Tom,
we do.
Tom Gaymore on this week. Sadly, he couldn't make it. We tried to get. We're still trying to sort of live out. If that doesn't work, we'll try and do a pre-record. He's a motorsport commentator, and obviously, motorsport tends to happen at the weekends, so he can be very, very busy. Bizarrely, we tried to pick a quiet part of the year, but it still hasn't quite worked out for him. But so Tom Gaymore's not. So this is a short show today. Tom Gaymore's not with us this week. We are trying to sort out a live, but if that doesn't happen, we'll do a pre-record. You've got to listen to his story. He's such a lovely guy anyway. But his story, he's growing up. The people he knew, the people he used to play rugby with, dear boy. It's just incredible.
Oh my God. He honestly, when we heard that quick summary from him, we were like,
I know.
Okay.
Can't wait to have him on. Of course, my daughter's Formula One obsessed. So, and he's met Lando Norris, who she's got a bit of a crush on. So Jamie's looking forward to seeing him. Come on.
Good. Yeah. Thank you, Ian. That was about Panorama for the information. Did you have a booking for today? Yes, that's right. That's what Maria was saying. Thank you, Maria. Thank you for reminding us on that one. Dave, I want to ask you, because you're doing your courses and things, and we get asked a lot with the firearm side of things and dogs, is so say you're a PC and you're like day one of your probation and you want to be a dog handler. What should they do to sort of stick their head above the parapet? Because obviously it's a very tough department to get into.
It is. So for dogs, it's still roughly the same route. You need to be good at filling out application forms, and the police do application forms rather strangely. I'm sure it's the same in other worlds as well, but you have to know what the buzzwords are, and basically you have to go and get training. You have to find a senior officer that's done it and is an expert in it, and they can help you fill out a form. And that stuff's rubbish. I don't like that stuff, because we should be picking the right people, not the people who can spell correctly. And because when you're a dog handler, all that matters is that you work hard, you're a thief taker, and that you're prepared to get covered in mud with your dog. It's not filling out forms. But anyway, I digress. It's about being that cop that's not, that is first out the door, that will go to the big jobs, that will take control, will take responsibility for their own actions, even if it's gone wrong, because you're often on your own. So it will be your decision. It will be the officer that's when they get to a job that they think a dog might be useful at, they make sure that the call is made as quickly as possible to the dog unit, probably when you're en route to it, so that the dog unit can get rolling, and they then can take control of that scene and start telling people, whether they've got more service than them and more experience than them, they take control and say, right, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're putting a payment on, no one's getting out of the car, we've rung the IP, the injured party, they're safe, so we don't need to go and see them. Let's let the dog and the dog handler be the first person to get to the scene. That's what I look for when I'm looking for the next batch.
And on the other side, it's quite scary when you're at a scene and you quickly, first of all, it's a bit of if you don't catch them straight away, but then you constantly, because if they're running from the scene, you run after them. You can't just stay in your car but it's very difficult, because you're going to get the wrath of the dog handler if you have been prancing around the scene, scratching your backside and going, dog's en route. Oh no, I didn't know a dog was en route.
A friend of mine had one the other day, and I've had this loads of times. I think it was a stolen car, and it had been followed, and eventually they crashed and ran off, and they followed them on foot down an alleyway, and they got to the end of this alleyway and he'd vanished. And I always say to people, they haven't vanished. They haven't been beamed up by Scotty. They haven't just suddenly found the power of 10 tigers and sprinted away at 30 miles an hour like Linford Christie. They've jumped in a bush or behind a wall or something, and they're waiting for you to start to run around like a headless chicken so they can make their escape. So if you come around that corner and they're not there, stand still. Don't start searching around all over the place. Stay quiet, because you'll probably hear them. Let the dog come and do their thing and find them. And we've had some amazing results where people have literally, they've come to the corner, can't see him any longer, and they just stand still, stay quiet, call the dog. I need the dog to me immediately. I think he's around here. He's gone to ground somewhere, and boost the dog. Literally, my colleague, he got his dog out the van, and he was just about to speak to the officer, and the dog went this way, and he was hiding behind a bush about 20 foot away from the officer. So,
brilliant. Dave, Do you still go to jobs with Hero and Pearl, or are you purely doing instruction these days?
Yeah, no, I went to a job. Well, no, sorry, I called up for a job the other day and I got cancelled en route. So yes, I do still go to jobs. I've got to be mindful that it doesn't interrupt people's instructing time because that's precious to them and their dogs. But yeah, on the way to and from venues, I have the radio on and I do listen. And if I can go, I will go. The girls love working; they love training as well. So
yeah,
if I can, I will.
Yeah. Stephanie, I've tried to decipher that. I have no idea what that means, unless Dave knows what Chapter 18 is. But if you just...
I'll have to have a look at Chapter 18. It might be me coming home covered in mud. That's quite a usual thing for me. And she used to make me now and then strip off at the back door if I was... Because we'd be wading through rivers and, you name it. In fact, the only thing I haven't been in is a cesspit, thankfully. But
wow.
We found ourselves up to our necks in water and all sorts of trying to
yeah, that's one thing you wouldn't want to drown in, isn't it? A cesspit.
Yeah, it wouldn't be top of my list.
Every now and then.
Yeah,
no, yeah.
Well, one thing I want to mention, because it keeps coming up on social media, and I think the news has started to cover it now, which is brilliant. So we've seen, and I'm not getting into COVID and vaccines and stuff like that. That's for you to decide what you do. I mean, I'm vaccinated, and we've got our boosters and everything. But there's this group of people going around nationally saying that centres need to be shut down because there's an active investigation. Yeah. There isn't. Yeah. There's no crime number. A number has been raised because somebody made a complaint. There isn't an active investigation. There is no evidence to gather. All this stuff is being reviewed all the time by the relevant bodies. That if you get approached by someone when you go to a vaccination centre or a testing centre even, telling you that it's closed, it's been shut down because there's an active investigation, it's rubbish. It's nonsense. They've come out this week, haven't they?
You can see why the officer has done it. Some slightly inexperienced well, I've got to follow the rules, because basically there's a thing called National Crime Recording Standards. So, and the police were criticised because they weren't listing the crimes that were people were complaining about, saying I've had this, and they're like, well, we don't believe you. So they weren't listing that. But so they made very strict policies on when a crime has to be crimed. So if I was out standing outside a nightclub as a police officer and a guy goes by holding his eye and it's like bleeding, and I say, what happened to you, mate? He went, oh, I just fell over. I don't want to make a complaint. Looks like someone's hit you. You would actually, even though he's not making a complaint, if you believe a crime has occurred, you've got to actually take the basic details that you can. So
even if they don't give you their name, you still have to record that a crime has taken place. I mean, that sort of thing is useful, if I'm honest, because if you want to get a picture of actually what's happening in town, then that's good. But yeah, like Harry said, someone's coming to the police station to make
into the station,
war crimes and all genocide and all sorts.
And the officer, in fairness to them, thinks, well, I'm just going to get in trouble for not recording it, so I better record it. But there will then be an overall policy now. I'm sure that there would have been emails around to all officers saying, if somebody does this regarding this, it has been decreed that it is not a crime and therefore shall not be recorded. So don't try it if you're thinking of doing that now.
The point, Ian made the point as well, because they talk about being common law peace officers, not police, peace officers.
Yeah.
Again, it doesn't exist. Someone made, I think if I read into it, someone made a fictitious court probably in their front room in about 2019. I think they said they were the common law court. Doesn't exist. And they swore out common law peace officers. They don't exist. So yes, if someone says to you that's what they're doing and that's what they are, smile sweetly. Don't engage them and carry on with your day.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. I just came across this. This is on now. First of all, that little face.
Lendog
keeping the frost at bay, still on fire, tracked a male to the cliff edge, stood some 40 feet below on the rocky outcrop below. Oh, I see. So would have been out of sight then initially. Safely resolved with patience and verbal tactics. Great effort. There you go. Life-saving.
Exactly.
So basically, wouldn't have seen them otherwise. Wouldn't have seen them, and a lot more time to make the decision to jump.
Absolutely. Incredible. Oh, and
That's
yes, our friend Nikki Leaper. If you don't follow Nikki Leaper, follow her. Loveliest
great.
person. One of the loveliest people I've ever met in policing. Absolutely incredible. And this week, her and I can't remember her colleague's name, who's the dog section boss down there, were successfully promoted to assistant chief constable. So well done.
Yeah, she's great. She's great. It's lovely to see that. Very, very experienced. Certainly not flown up the ranks, just touching departments here, there, and everywhere. No, very experienced. Great. Devon and Cornwall, I tell you what, they got it right. They got it right. Good bosses, good people. You know, they support their staff.
Oh, he's nearly there.
Oh, yeah, you were nearly there, mate. You were nearly there. Mate, time's up. 16:30.
It is. Yeah.
It's been emotional. That was quite. I enjoyed that. I'm glad I actually woke up and to deal with that. So no, it was good. Thank you, everyone. It's really nice. They've really got involved themselves with the comments and things. So it was really good to see. And have a good week, Dave. Stay safe. And if you're, there was comments on there. Yes, Paignton. Yes, Halifax. Yes, Leeds for our online on our stage frontline chat. I can't speak properly. I'm still a bit, but I'll probably stay here tonight, probably. And so we're not doing anywhere else at the moment. But you never know. You never know what happens, especially as this COVID thing's disappearing now. You know, getting less and less, isn't it? Less restrictions. Right. Catch you later, guys. Cheers, Dave.
Bye.